caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the...
What's up, guys? Lance the Obscure Movie Guy coming to you once again with another fun-filled, fact-filled video that you probably won't care about, but we're going to do it anyways, trying to change the world one post at a time. Now, if you guys have been following me, which you should, you may recall that I've done a few reviews for the Mahal Empire, where we've done Arena Wars, The Devil's Night, and I'm happy to say that they're back again with another film. This time we're going to be talking about 2026's Alien Storm.
There's something out there.
Where?
In the fog.
What is it?
I don't know. But it's big.
Congratulations on taking McConnelly Air public, Frank.
Thank you very much, Alexander. We've all been working very hard to get to this point.
You know, pimping ain't easy.
My fellow Americans, there have been reports of a strange weather pattern across the globe. Satellites and drones cannot penetrate this fog. We're begging you, please stay indoors.
What aren't you telling us?
Panicking does no one any good.
I have a bunker.
What is this place? It's old or fever dream.
This is enough to make the A-team blush.
What is that?
Hello?
We'll do everything we can to keep you safe and keep the country safe. God bless you.
This is the end times.
God, hell no.
We found their weakness.
How exactly do we survive down here?
Alien Storm was written by Sonny Mahal and Michael Mahal, along with Adam Worth, and Adam Worth directed the film. It stars Robert Stanley, Laura Mason, and has appearances by Donnelly Heising, Tom Arnold, Glenn Plummer, and Kevin Sorbo. Basically, tells the story of an alien invasion, aliens coming to Earth and taking us over. And when the film opens up to kind of a cool sequence where the Glenn Plummer plays one of the army colonels in the beginning of the film. There's an army squad. They're kind of going out investigating like this weird mist type fog thing where, you know, basically it's a weather pattern that comes in, covers a city, nobody can see anything, and crazy things start happening. And this army squad goes out to try and investigate, and of course bad things happen. Now, as the film goes on, we find out that that weather pattern is essentially the aliens that are coming into these cities, using this weather pattern fog type system to camouflage themselves and then invade these cities, take over, and essentially eat people. They are here for food. That is essentially the major plot of this film, is that there is this alien invasion taking over the world, and President of the United States, played by Kevin Sorbo, trying to figure out exactly who, what, when, where, and why all of this is going on. Now, the film does kind of focus and is centralized in Las Vegas around a group of people where we have Robert Stanley, who's playing Mr. McConnelly, along with his wife, Laura Mason, Ophelia McConnelly. And they are at a, you know, kind of a ritzy party that he's throwing on, you know, a lot of powerful people, a lot of rich friends. And that's kind of where the movie kind of centralizes, is on this group of people at this party. And as this weather system comes into town and starts taking over Las Vegas, these people try to fight back. Now, from a fundamental standpoint, with the Mahals, you're usually going to get pretty good quality. The videography is very good. The camera quality is very good. Lighting was definitely very interesting throughout the course of this film. A lot of use of like blue and purple, you know, kind of exacerbating small corridors. Really interesting style of filmmaking that I'll dive into a little bit. There's not really any audio issues. There's one or two spots where I could pick up on maybe some ADR that didn't quite match the tone of what was actually being said. maybe just a different room tone, but it wasn't anything that really detracted me. It was just something that I kind of picked up because of my, attention to detail. But from a fundamental standpoint, the Mahals always bring very good quality to their films. The videography, cinematography, the editing, even the practical and visual special effects. I will say uh, they do a really good job of having a balanced sheet between both. You're going to get some visual CGI. You're definitely going to get a lot of practical special effects. There's usually blood and gore involved with their films. Um, so they did a really good job with all of that stuff. So pretty cool. I really enjoy their style of filmmaking, and I think I liked this concept because we see alien invasion films all the time. Um, but I like the concept of this one. These aliens are coming to Earth, and they're basically, it's nothing that we haven't seen before. Kind of seen it with Independence Day. You could definitely get a little bit of a sense of inspiration from that. The aliens short on resources. Unfortunately, the resources are us in this case. But they definitely do a little bit of a mixture of sci-fi and horror with this one, because there's a couple aspects of obviously sci-fi with it being aliens. There's definitely some horror aspects with some of the kills, some of the special effects, the blood and gore, and there's also a little bit of a little touch of some zombie apocalypse mixed in there, which I thought was kind of interesting. So definitely a cool concept with how they made this film. The other thing that I do like about the Mahal's films is they do get some semi-big name actors to be in their films. In this case, we have Glenn Plummer, which famous from back in the day in like Speed, Showgirls, Tom Arnold. Everybody knows Tom Arnold. And then obviously Kevin Sorbo, Hercules. And what I like about the fact is that they get these people to come in and do these parts, and they're not just like a quick cameo. It is a part that does have the dialogue has substance to the character. They're not just there for the name. They're there for an actual performance. And that performance may only be one scene, but that scene is generally something that is critical. In this case, Kevin Sorbo played the President of the United States, and he actually did have a couple scenes, and it was pretty pivotal, his character, about trying to figure out what's going on, when and why he found out, and how he found out. And there was definitely some substance to the character. Same thing with Tom Arnold. Tom Arnold just won the election for, his character, not Tom Arnold himself, but he just won the election to be mayor of Las Vegas. So he's playing the mayor. You've got Kevin Sorbo playing, the president of the United States. Glenn Plummer is a colonel in the United States Army. So it's pretty cool that they get these guys with, the names bring some validity and some gravitas to the film itself. They give them actual parts. It's not just a cameo. It's a part with substance, that it has actual meaning to the films. And I think that's really cool concept that they do with their celebrities that they bring in. Another really cool thing that the Mahals do, and I have found this with not all of their films, but definitely like Arena Wars and definitely like this one, the Mahals do a really good job of expanding the universe in which the film is happening, even though it's kind of all being shot in one centralized location. To try and give you a little bit of an idea, you've got this party here at this Las Vegas mansion, beautiful house, fancy cars, people, they're all dressed up, tuxedos, suits, dresses, dressed to the nines. And, when the alien invasion starts to happen, Mr. McConnelly's like, well, I've got a bunker underneath the house. We can hide out there until this blows over. And so everybody goes downstairs to the bunker, and eventually things come into the bunker and people have to go out of the bunker. So you do get some little bit of like horror tropes in that regard, which was kind of cool, mixing it with the sci-fi once again. But what I liked is you have these news reports that are expanding on this universe. So it's not just Las Vegas, and it's not just this house that it's happening to. It's happening around the United States. It's happening around the world. And they also have like a ham radio that they can try and reach out to anybody that's listening on that device. So they do a really good job of expanding the universe, even though everything's kind of happening in this one centralized location. So the world and the movie feels bigger than it actually is. I love that style of filmmaking with them. They did the same kind of concept with Arena Wars. With Arena Wars, if you haven't seen that, it's a really fun movie to go watch. But basically, you have inmates fighting for their freedom through these various kinds of setups. As far, it's almost like the Running Man. You're a criminal, but you can fight for your freedom. And even though things are kind of happening in a centralized like arena or a room, like you have this TV audience that's broadcasted out into the world. So everything always feels a lot bigger than it actually is. And I think that's a great use of their budget and a great use of their space that they have. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this film is the aliens themselves. I mean, we're not breaking any new ground. They are definitely a little bit unique looking. I don't want to give too much away in regards to how they look, but you do get to see the full alien, and I can appreciate that on a moderately budget. We're not going to say low budget. We're going to say moderately budgeted film. They are not afraid to showcase the whole alien itself, and in some cases, there's multiple aliens. And I think they did a really good job of kind of creating a unique looking alien that does have some horror aspects to it. Glowing red eyes, sharp teeth, claws. They do eat people. So you're kind of getting this mixture of, it's like a sci-fi horror type deal that you're getting. And they're not afraid to showcase that. Is the aliens the most amazing looking thing in the world? No, but I appreciate the fact that they're willing to put them out there and show their work and be like, this is what we've got going on. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we got. And I think the acting in this film is actually pretty damn good. Despite the fact that you have big names like Glenn Plummer, Tom Arnold, Kevin Sorbo. I mean, those are consummate professionals. You're going to get what you get with them. But I really think their two leads, Laura Mason and Robert Stanley, did an amazing job with their characters. Robert Stanley hasn't been in a whole lot of stuff, which is kind of weird. He's been in the game for a long time. Like his IMDb goes back to like the early 90s, but he doesn't have a whole lot of credits. So he's been in the game for a long time, but hasn't necessarily done a lot of stuff. But I thought this was a great character for him as Mr. McConnelly. He's a father, he's a husband, he's the one throwing this party, he's a business owner. He's got a lot going on as an individual. And Robert got to showcase a lot of different aspects of that character, from being a protective husband and father, to a grieving character. I'm not going to say who. You're going to have to watch to find out. But also to be like a little reserved. He wants to be this protective father and husband. And he's like, we've got this bunker, but it's, kind of for the family. Where Laura's character, Ophelia, kind of talks him into, the bunker is for us and for our friends. We should really try and take care of these people. So, Robert Stanley as McConnelly does a really good job of going through a whole range of emotions throughout the course of this film. At first he's a little reserved, and then he's got to kind of step up and be the leader of this group. And, he's kind of a doomsday prepper. So some of that comes out towards the end of the film. And, you get to see a lot of range with this character. And Laura Mason, as Ophelia McConnelly, I loved that character. She was great. I loved her in this film. I liked the way she acted. I liked the way she looked. I liked the character setup that they gave her. She's the wife. She's a mother, but she's also kind of a badass as well. And that comes out a little bit more towards the end of the film, where she's really starting to take charge. And it's really interesting to see the power dynamic between Ophelia and Frank as the McConnellys, as husband and wife. Because there is a shared power dynamic there. Neither one of them is ever trying to one up the other. No one's ever really trying to take the lead. They are very much a team. And I loved her character in this. I got like Pamela Anderson, like barbed wire VIP type vibes from the character. She's very beautiful. She's elegant, but she's also like got a lot of strength. She's powerful. She's not afraid to walk around in her dress and carrying, a sniper rifle to try and take out some aliens. I thought it was brilliant how they brought all that together. And there's a couple of other characters throughout the course of the film. I think this is one of the best things they did about the writing of this film, is you've got this hodgepodge of characters that for specific reasons are all kind of interlinked to one another. And I don't want to give too much away, but just to give you an example, like, McConnelly, owns an airline. That's why he's got this money. You know, you have Ophelia, who's the wife. You have Tom Arnold, who's the mayor. You've got a couple other characters that are a little bit subplot characters. You know, you've got some servants, you know, waiters and waitresses that were at the party kind of serving the guests. You've got a guy that's got a military background, so he kind of comes in handy. You've got a guy that specializes in, you know, cleaning pools and spas and jacuzzis. And again, it seems kind of weird, but like there's a tie-in towards the end of the film where like he's also a critical part. So they did a really good job of having all of these minor characters. They had to be there in order for the film to work. They did a really good job of writing it. And it wasn't just a character that was like, oh, we need a guy that does this, so just write him in. Like, there's a dynamic and there's substance to these characters that were written into the film. And I thought it was really cool towards the end how they all had to kind of come together as a collective to try and figure out a way to defeat these aliens. So at the end of the day, I think this is a really fun sci-fi horror film. This kind of gives me some throwback vibes to like the types of like films you would see on like the Sci-Fi Channel, you know, from like Asylum or something like that. Maybe a little bit better than that. But it's a lot of fun, and I really love the Mahal style of filmmaking. I think they go in and know exactly what they want to do. I think they know exactly how they want to make it happen. You know, they know they're not winning any Oscars with these productions, but they are doing a great job in making these films. Now, unfortunately, I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you, unfortunately, within this past year, we did lose Michael Mahal as a part of the Mahal Empire, unfortunately. I don't know the details of why. It's not my business to ask. So I was really happy when Sonny reached out to me to send me the screener for this so that I could take a look at it. I know Sonny's been working really hard because there is a lot of unfinished projects from the Mahal Empire that are still coming down the pipeline. They're still working on like Bikers vs. Werewolves, the Apex Predators Club. So there's still more films that are going to be coming from the Mahal Empire slowly and surely. But Michael really was the driving force behind a lot of what the Mahal Empire did. And he was very good at crowdfunding. He was a master crowdfunder. That's how they got most of their budget for to do their films. And for the most part, it seemed like people really enjoyed dealing with Michael. You see a lot of the same actors throughout the course of their films. And I never talked to Michael face to face. I did correspond with him quite a few times over the last couple years about filming stuff and, you know, his reviews and the movies. And I will say that to me, I can only speak from my experience, but my experiences with Michael, I know he's a busy guy and I know he's doing a lot of stuff, but it was always very genuine. He always took a few extra minutes to explain something to me or get me an answer for something. You know, and he was always good. Like, I can't do it right this second, but I will get back to you. And he was always very good about that. He seemed very genuine with me, and I'm small time, small fry. But I was really happy and gracious when Sonny reached out because I know he's been dealing with a lot with the loss of Michael. But I know there's a lot of people when it happened that were very upset about it. And I'm sure he is very dearly missed. So you guys can check out Alien Storm. It's currently available on Apple TV and Amazon Prime. You can go rent it. I think it's a really fun popcorn flick to sit back, kick back, and just relax and just watch it and have fun with it for what it is. And I'm really looking forward to more stuff coming from the Mahal Empire. So, Sonny, keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop, brother. You guys got a lot going on. You got a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline, and I can't wait to see it. So, go check out the Mahal Empire. Go check out Alien Storm on Apple TV and Amazon Prime. Like, subscribe, and comment on my YouTube channel. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram. I'll see everybody in the next video.